Hello everyone, my name is Inashi and welcome to my video. I'm going to talk about the Nintendo Switch Lite today. So I've been a long time Nintendo fan. My grandma had the original NES. My friends growing up had an SNES. I always wanted one. I eventually got one. Then when Christmas came along in I think 97, I ended up getting a Nintendo 64, my brother and I, for Christmas. Holy shit, that was a great year. And then after that, I had a GameCube, and then I never had a Wii, but I was one of the guys who bought a Wii U. I've had all of the Game Boys, from Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advanced SP, the DS, DS Lite, 3DS, and the revised version of the 3DS. So I've bought a lot of Nintendo stuff, and I have to say, usually I'm a really big fan of the things they do. And the reason why I like what they do is that they stick to an idea, and they ride it all the way out, and they try to keep their product line really simple. Now, what I mean by that is that Sony and Microsoft will do things like they'll have the PS4 Pro, and then they'll have the regular PlayStation, and then Xbox will do that as well. And it makes the product line for me confusing because it gives more options to the consumers in a bad way. At least that's the way I look at it. Is that not everyone's getting the same sort of thing, which means the performance is going to vary. And I think that was the great thing about video game consoles, is that when you bought a console, you knew exactly what you were going to get. You knew exactly what to expect because everything was pretty much the same. There's probably some like very, very slight differences from console to console that's not really noticeable, but you knew you were going to plug something in and it was going to work, and you didn't have to freak out about it. But unfortunately, I think Nintendo is going away from that, and they are going towards this handheld only console, which means that if you're having games that don't have the handheld only mode, that means you can actually play it on the Switch Lite, which means that the library actually becomes smaller. Now, for a hardcore gamer, I think that's absolutely not a problem because they can follow the news and stuff like that. But for grandma, grandpa, your aunt, your uncle who doesn't really follow video games but is buying you a game for Christmas or for, whatever, for the holidays as like a surprise, the surprise might be on them that the game you bought actually doesn't work since it might not have the handheld mode. For me, that's a bit of a bummer and a big turnoff. The reason why is because I really like the idea of the original Switch, and as the name implied, it could switch from a handheld to a console and switch from a console connected to the TV back to a handheld. It was a really versatile and neat idea, and I thought it was a very progressive way to take gaming forward, where people are not only playing at home, but then they're also playing it mobilely. And so I thought, wow, this is great. And unfortunately, I think the Switch Lite is kind of a step back. I think it's a step back because it goes back to the handhelds and stuff that Nintendo has always kind of done. And they do great handhelds, and this looks like a great product as a handheld. It's beautiful, the colors are great, it's very hip looking, and I really like it. However, my problem is that it divides and it goes against the branding of what the Switch is. The Switch meaning to switch things. So overall, that's the one thing I wish they would have kept. They would have kept the naming and branding kind of consistent and not dividing the consumer base. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes out. I think it'll sell well. I don't know if I'll get it. I think the reasons why is also that it lacks the detachable motion controllers, which means you have to buy them separately, which takes that $100 savings and it bumps it up to a higher price. That being said, overall, a pretty cool looking product, but I wish Nintendo would have kept with the hybrid console throughout the console's entire lifespan. Anyway, that's all for now. If you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike it, give it a dislike. And whatever your feelings are, give a comment below. Thanks, and have a nice day.